So good morning. This is Garula. We're looking at a number of things this morning, expecting the market to at least bounce here, given that it's been down considerably over the past few days. And the things that we have placed on our watch list are all stocks that are hitting key algorithmic support. So we're expecting them to bounce. Just going to quickly go through this list. This is GPRE, Green Plains. This is Paramount. You can see it hit yesterday, and it looks like it's going to move up. There's some resistance here at 2780. We think that's going to be overcome. Texas Instruments. It hit this 4-hour ATR trailing stop. This is the inside week candle. So this was the low from the previous week. And it cleared that. Now it's above this support level. So if you look at it on a daily chart, you can see it is poised. Well, this might be bearish because we've got this 5-day EMA. So this may not continue to the upside. So we may look at this as a bearish opportunity. Builder's First Choice. I just had it on my list because it has an ATR trailing stop on the daily chart here. They had earnings, and I mean, this is where it closed. This is where it looks like it's going to try to open. That's a huge gap. So expecting that it might try to fill that gap. If it gets here and we see the reversal, then that would be an opportunity to trade to the downside. Cisco, again, it hit this algorithmic support level. And it looks like it's going to be, well, it looks like it's going to be bearish because you've got the 5-day EMA up here coming down on the top. So this is probably going to be a continuation to the downside. In-phase energy, I really liked. It just, I mean, you can't help but like this. I mean, it hit this support just perfectly here. And this was yesterday at the close. It bounced. It's already cleared the first hurdle. And when you look at the daily chart, it's a beautiful setup, really, because you don't have any real resistance until about 166. That's a $16 move, and it moves $15 a day, and it's energy. So probably can't go wrong with that one. But that's going to be a nice, I think, nice move to the upside. Exelon, I had Exelon on the list just because I'm going to take it off. It doesn't meet the criteria. Fuel cell. Fuel cell is interesting because it's an inexpensive stock. And I sent out a note to some folks today. I said, buy shares of fuel cell at $3.50 a share. Because when you look at it here, it has lost a lot of its value, but this is going to be a nice bounce with some resistance here at $4. So fuel cell is a nice play to the upside. FUTU's hitting a lot of resistance, but it cleared it. So you've got an inside week, an inside month, algorithmic resistance and support. Yet it struggled in the pre-market, but it broke through this resistance. So that's fairly significant. Not sure if it's going to hold. So it'll probably get to this 30-day, $30.71, which is where the 5-day EMA is. And if it hits resistance here, then there'll be a nice trade to the downside. IIVI, I just put this on the list because it was one that I've been watching. They make Amazon, they make, I guess it's components for the iPhone, iPad, etc. For not Amazon, for the iPhone, for Apple. And this looks like a good trade, but this is earnings. So I had it here because it was hitting an ATR trailing stop right here with a market at 63.28. This is a 4-hour. Expecting it to get rejected here, but it is bouncing off of this key support level as well. And it bounced off in the aftermarket because it was falling yesterday. Doesn't really have any resistance until about 62.01. I'm going to try to go through the rest of these really quickly without explanation. Mosaic, again, you can see here, this is the support. Moderna, here is the support. Next, Terra Energy, here is the support. ON Semiconductor, support. Palo Alto Networks, given that this stock was a high flyer, it was $640. It's now $459. This would be a really nice, I think, swing. There's a gap here to fill. There's no real resistance until about 511. So that's about a $50 gain, and it moves $31 a day. So again, we're in a small account. So once we have some big money, once we've made some money, we can trade things like this. Because I'm looking at this, and we're talking, it's too rich for our blood. I'll just say that. So it's nice to keep track of these things. So Square, again, to the upside, looks like Tesla's going to be a nice trade. Here we go. So I'm going to buy SPY on the open. This is my plan. And so I just bought the 420 for SPY. I'm really comfortable with that trade. And as I was mentioning earlier, Dave, if I was right yesterday, just a day early on the upside, so if I bought Wednesday's expiration, I would have been fine. So I'm going to go to my portfolio, and what I'm trading currently, and Rivian is working against me, but I'm in Devon and SPY. So I'm going to look at Devon to see if I'm going to stay in this, and it looks like I will. Rivian looking for some resistance.
Richard, to
Here's-
clarify, you're buying the May 11th or May 13th, May 11th.
For SPY?
Yeah, right.
Yes, I bought the May 11th $420 call for SPY. Paid 46 cents for those. I bought 4 of them. And I'm looking to possibly swing them, but I'm looking for today, I'm looking for 408 on SPY. This is where the 5-day EMA is. If it clears that 408, then I'm going to stay in this and looking to take it to 420. So if you look at the daily chart for SPY, using the method that we've talked about, there is this algorithmic resistance at 420.64. And then you've got the 20-day EMA coming down to meet that resistance level. So to me, that says that's going to be strong resistance. So I've targeted 420 for SPY. And I'm expecting when it gets here, which could be Wednesday morning, then it's going to either experience some resistance and decline, or it's going to break through and just make a massive move to the upside. So 420, in order to be profitable, or at least to break even, it needs to be $420.46. That's what I paid. But of course, we don't have to wait until then to take profit if we have it. All right, so looking at Rivian, I'm going to stay in the Rivian puts. I bought the May 20, and they were up yesterday, but now they are down, obviously, only down 6%, so not a lot. Rivian has earnings coming up, and I'm in Devon. My Devon calls are up today, which is good. So I'm going to mark the opening high and opening low like we normally do. And we're going to let that form. And then we'll talk about some decision making. So this is the opening low so far. If for some reason Devon falls below that, then we'll move this down. And we're going to mark this as the opening high. And these will get moved as the candles continue to form. So this is SPY. Opening low, opening high. And this is Rivian. And ideally, we'd make decisions on trading based on a stock breaking opening high or opening low. So looking at Devon, I'm going to go to a couple of different time frames. So looking at Devon here, what we have is we're facing a lot of resistance here with this ATR trailing stop on the 30-minute chart, also the 50-day EMA and the 200. So that's a lot of resistance to overcome. Looking at Rivian, almost similar, except we have the 200 square here. We have the 50-day and the ATR trailing stop. So not as significant. For SPY, it seems to be the same. All right, so we're going to readjust our highs and lows. So we're going to move this down. This is SPY. This seems to be the opening high right here. And for Devon, we still look good here. And for Rivian, still look good here. All right, so looks like my Rivian puts are back positive. This is a shooting star on Devon, which I don't particularly like. I do have Friday's expiration. I am at 15%. So I'm just going to take a look here, and before making any real decisions, I'm going to let this candle form. All right, so Rivian's performing the way we expected. So I'm going to move this down because we have a new opening. We have a new low forming. And the same thing on SPY, we have a new low forming. Expecting to find support here on the 20-day EMA. And Devon, expecting to find support here at this ATR trailing stop. Rivian is still falling. All right, we may have an opening low here for the SPY if this holds. So again, we expected it to bounce here off this 20-day EMA, which so far support is holding. Devon, we expected it to bounce off the ATR trailing stop. So far, support is holding. And Rivian, we don't expect it to find any support until it gets here at 23.33 thereabouts. All right, so we just watch and wait. Anything you guys want to take a look at right now? I'm going to sit in these probably for most of the morning. Just going to keep an eye to make sure that they don't do anything disastrous to blow up my account. But I'm looking at swinging each of these trades.
Richard, how does that $500 account stand?
Currently, I'm at $1,034, $27, $33, $40, $1,040.38. So
Okay,
yesterday, as you know, I took on a considerable amount of risk, recognizing that I had $1,200 and change, 12 something in my account based on the fact that I did much better than my anticipated gain. And I took on a little more risk than I should have. So I gave back some of that, but I was willing to risk, about 200 bucks of my account yesterday, which I did and which I lost. Had I bought time, had I bought the SPY for Wednesday instead of buying it for yesterday's expiration, I would have been able to swing it. That would have been okay. But I think we'll be okay today. So some of the stocks I bought yesterday, they declined. Like, for example, Devon declined, but today it's up. So it's making up the difference. Rivian was positive for me yesterday. So right now we're up today. Actually, we're down today about 2% overall. But Devon should be a nice trade to the upside. So I'm expecting it to really make up for some lost time, because yesterday it really fell hard and we expected it to bounce here. It's struggling now with the 5-day EMA at 64.47. It hit that and got rejected. That's where actually where the opening high is. So once we break that, we think Devon's going to be good to go to the upside. So I still have $340 that I can use. I'm not looking to use that unless I have to for some reason. If I sell out, I'd have to sell out of something. But looks like Rivian is going to give us what we need. We haven't made an opening low yet on Rivian. And the reason for that is we see here is the low. This is a new low, continue to make lows. So we have an opening high, but we don't have an opening low. So I'm going to move this down for Rivian. And see what's happening with Devon. A lot of volatility in the market right now.
CPI is coming out tomorrow. That's a big number.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that's going to impact the market. We haven't looked at the VIX today. So here is the VIX. And based on what we have here, looks like the VIX opened, it hit this key algorithmic resistance and it declined. So I'm expecting the VIX to fall today. It needs to fall through this 31.94 and this ATR trailing stop on the 30-minute chart. But I'm expecting this to be a little bit strong here, this resistance level. You can see it a couple of times here, it hit it, it held. So this is going to probably be a decline on the VIX. And I think there's some pent up demand that we're going to see today as well, with some upside buying. So David, can you explain the CPI and how that will impact the market?
Well, yeah, that's a measure of inflation. So, I mean, Powell's whole monetary policy is based on inflation. So my opinion is the market has already priced it in somewhat. So anything less than horrible news is going to be positive. The VIX is,
So,
VIX is forming a head and shoulders on the 30-minute. I mean, I think you're right. Long side's the way to be now.
so when you say anything less than anything less than expected is going to be positive, you mean the market will then move to the upside?
Yes, yeah, yeah. I think yesterday was kind of a capitulation. I mean, oil stocks should not have been down. Brilliant call on Devon. There's no, what happened yesterday was people getting margin calls and selling anything they had to meet those margin calls.
Yeah, I see the head and shoulders on the VIX. So you've got the shoulder here, head, and then it's forming the rest of the shoulder. So if the VIX falls to 29.72 here, which is the next level down, then that should be really good for the market, given the fact that it's been elevated for quite a bit. But it looks like that might be the level. So this is really strong resistance. I can't really express how significant the ATR trailing stops are, both on the upside and downside. This is 44.96, 404.96. I put that in the wrong place. So 44.96 ATR trailing stop. This is on a 30-minute chart. All right, so now we have a new low on the SPY. Looks like the low for Rivian is, well, maybe it's not quite established yet. We've established a low for Devon, and the reason why that is so is because we have the high here, a lower high. We have the low here, a higher low. So this is the opening low for Devon. And it just so happens that it is at the ATR trailing stop and the 50-day EMA. So this is really strong support. Here you have three levels. You have the opening low, you have the ATR trailing stop, and then you have the 50-day EMA as support. So if Devon somehow breaks this, that would be a real problem. All right, so it looks like we're back into weakness. The SPY has now continued to fall. I'm gonna move this down. We may get a new low here from Rivian, which is desirable. This is where my puts are. Let's see what Apple's doing, because Apple, I had a target on Apple for 150. It didn't get there yesterday, but it got close. I see Apple open, it hit this 5-day EMA, and now it's hitting this inside month. So this is a previous month's low, and it's getting rejected at that level. So I wouldn't be surprised if Apple declines today. Let's take a look at Tesla. So there's weakness all over. Tesla is going to hit support here. It looks like it's 795, 795.36. We'll see what happens here. But oil and gas may be the play today. And there were a couple of other oil and gas stocks that we had in our list. There was Enphase Energy. Wow, that's not a good look. That's a shooting star, so that would be bearish. Fuel cell, that one did not go up. It's higher than it closed, but it opened higher and then it declined. NextEra Energy. This one actually seems to be good. So if we look at it on a daily chart, this is NextEra Energy here. It's a consolidation, so you'd want to see it break above this 5-day EMA and find some support to the upside. 71.59 would be a key level. And let's see, Palo Alto or ON Semiconductor, declining. Palo Alto, declining. Square, declining. Zscaler, declining. So it seems to be the theme of the day. Let's go take a look at what we've got in our portfolio. So let's see where Rivian is. All right, so Rivian's made a new low and it continues to make a new low. So I am in $25 puts on Rivian expiring May 20th. And for Devon is consolidating. I don't like this shooting star here, but I like the fact that there's support here for Devon. So this does signal a reversal. Here is the reversal. And maybe now that reversal is over and we get a move to the upside because we have a shooting star here. Devon seems to be honoring this 20-day EMA. And we know we've got really strong support here, so we're not going to exit this unless we break this support, even if we go sideways, because we have Friday's expiration. So I'm holding a $63 call on Devon, and it expires May 13th. Looks like we're making a new low on the SPY. And we move this down. All right, so the next level of support here is going to be this 200-day EMA. So I bought those SPY calls really cheaply. They expire Wednesday. I paid 46 cents for them. They are down, and I may add to them, given that I can get them at a good price. So I may just actually double what I have on SPY. I want to watch this candle here and look for an opportunity. So we're bouncing off of support. This is a key support level. And just want to keep an eye on what's happening here. So I am going to add to my SPY calls, and I'm going to double what I'm currently holding on SPY. It looks like Devon is moving in the right direction, so that's good. Rivian is trying to find support. We're looking for the 5-day EMA to be trouble. and SPY is trying to find support as well. So if we can clear the 5-day EMA here on SPY, that would be a signal for us. So we're just going to watch this candle. Devon is moving up nicely. I'm looking at it on another screen. So that's up 23%. Looking at swinging both Devon and Rivian. So that leaves me about $500 for trading because I'm using a cash account. And currently I have $340 of that $500 remaining. Looking at taking the SPY again up to 420 with an interim target of about 407, so 408. But I'm expecting it to hit 408 today. As an ATR trailing stop on the 30-minute, looks like that we have to get over. All right, so we're going to watch this, and we want to clear this 5-day EMA. So decent volume because the body of this candle is shorter than this one, but the volume is about the same. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and enter my trade here. And looking at Devon, I'm comfortable with where Devon is now. So Devon is broken through and has made a new high. So it's broken the opening high. And it's going ahead and making its move to the upside. So I'm really satisfied with that trade. Looking at the 30-minute chart, it's through the ATR trailing stop. Good volume, good candle. So the next level of resistance for Devon is, all right, so it's above the 5-day EMA. It's on the 1-hour chart, 65.88. 65.88. This is a trailing stop on the 1-hour. All right, so let's kind of see if we can see it on our 5-minute chart, and we cannot. All right, so going back to the SPY. All right, our SPY trade is working. We want to have this candle close, and it closes in about 2.5 minutes. We want it to close above the 5-day EMA here, and then to find support above the 5-day EMA. Devon continues to move to the upside. So right now, we are up 2% for the day in our account. We were down 2%. Now we're positive 2%. And I'm managing a lot of trades, which is not necessarily desirable, but I'm swinging Rivian and I'm swinging Devon. So it looks like we have a new low here on Rivian. Move that down. All right, the SPY is struggling at this level, but we're okay with that. So I currently have $225 remaining to trade with. My SPY trade could very easily be a day trade, but if SPY is able to climb above the 5-day EMA, if it closes above the 5-day EMA with some good volume, then I will swing this trade till tomorrow rather than taking the profit. But that's going to be a key decision to make. All right, so SPY is moving up. Good. So I'm up now 4% on my account for the day. So that's good. So current value of my account is $1,127. And Devon is still moving to the upside. So Devon's up 46%. Again, I'm holding a May 13 $63 call on Devon. And Devon was bought because of this move here. Once it fell to this level, I bought after it bounced off the 20-day EMA because there was a small wick here yesterday when I bought it. And by the end of the day, it had moved back down, but that was perfectly okay. I was comfortable in the fact that Devon was most likely going to bounce off this key support. And here we've got the screen candle, so it's very possible. Let's see, Devon had a low of 63.13 today. So 63.13 plus 406. So 67.19 would be the target. This resistance here is at 68.21. So if we get a full ATR out of Devon, if Devon hits $67 and change, then I'm going to take the profit on it today rather than swinging it. And then I'll wait and see what happens tomorrow. All right, so we've got volatility again in the market, of course. Looking at the VIX. The VIX found support here on this ATR trailing stop on the 5-minute chart. So we've got support here at 32.15 also. I'm going to mark that 32.15. $30-minute. Couple of different support levels. So this moved up from here. It was here yesterday. And it moved up from here to here, this trailing stop, because of the gain in the VIX. So looking at the VIX on a 1 hour. So this red candle and this doji could signal reversal or continuation. Given that we've got the 5-day EMA coming down on top here, we're expecting the VIX to get rejected at this level and to decline. And if we look at this 1 hour chart, we've got a spinning top, spinning top. This is really a spinning top. So we're expecting a reversal, and it hit this ATR trailing stop on the weekly chart. And that's when it started to decline. So that was not unexpected. All right, so good. Looks like we could fall below here on the VIX. All right, so looking at SPY, our SPY trade is good. We bought it right around here, right around the 403. So it looks positive.
Richard, the SPY just went through the VWAP. Is that important?
That's very important. Thank you, Dave. So let me put that on the screen. Let's see here. And I should have a separate one just for VWAP. I'm going to remove this volume profile. So not only did the SPY go through the VWAP, but the 5-day EMA just crossed the VWAP to the upside. So that is very important because that's a bullish signal. So this essentially says that the SPY is now bullish, where when it was below, that it was bearish. I'm gonna take a look at some of the others. Rivian is also trying to cross above. It hasn't closed yet. But it is trying to climb above. And with Devon, Devon is way above and bullish for the day. So Devon is a high flyer. So going back to SPY, the next thing we want to see for SPY is for it to, well, it's got this resistance here, this ATR trailing stop here on the 30-minute chart that it needs to break. And then we want to see it break this opening high. That will give us some confidence in the move up. So looking at the 30-minute chart on the SPY, we see this move here off the pre-market. We see a spinning top. Now we see this green candle forming. So we're looking for this candle, which will close in 25 minutes, to actually break this resistance here on the 30-minute chart. So that's what we are looking to see happen. That would give us some additional confidence in the move. But yeah, the VWAP is really significant. We want to stay above it if we can. Let's save this setting here. I can pull it up easily. I want to go back and take a look at the volume point of control just to see what it's telling us. All right, so this is the volume point of control. So I'm going to mark this as I did yesterday. 404.43 is where the most transactions have occurred. 404.43 is where the most volume has occurred. So that's where traders consider SPY to be fair price. So this is the VPOC. And we want to just keep track to make sure that if this line moves down, then we may want to consider exiting, because that means that the value is dropping. If this line moves up, then that means the value is increasing for SPY. So let's do that for Rivian, because Rivian is our downside trade. And mark this here, 21.31 or 23.31. So we'll know what's happening with Rivian. Again, if this is moving up, then we may want to consider taking an exit on our put. If it's moving down, then we know that we are good. And for Devon, 63.70. So this is the volume point of control. That is a significant level of resistance. And the VIX is doing exactly what we thought. It's declining. We do have this support level here on the 30-minute chart, which is going to be key. Let's go back to the SPY and 30 minutes. Oh, I'm sorry, 5-minute. I need to take I have the overnight on here and I need to take it off. So I think that's the problem. It may change how it looks. It did. So I need to be focused only on today. So I'm going to move this. This really should be. Really should be here at 403.99. 403.99. So when you're using the volume point of control, you want to take the overnight off on your chart because you only want to measure what's happening for the day when the market opens. Because you're looking at, again, you're looking at volume. And I can't figure out how to change this to the right number. 403.99. It has moved to 403.96 just that quickly. All right, so it's moving up. So, all right, so it's moving up, so that's good. Devon, 63.77. And for Rivian, 23.52. All right, so now we have a gauge that we can use. So, and we can see already, I want to make this line thicker. You can see already that the value of the SPY, well, it's increasing and it's volatile. So it's up and down, but you can see this line moving. I'm going to make this line shorter so that it's not overlapping. Right, 403.96. 403.96. All right, so now we can see clearly what's happening here. Same thing here. Here, now we have a gauge we can use to determine whether the value of our investment is improving or not. And you simply can watch this line here, which is where, again, where the most transactions are occurring, because this represents what traders and investors perceive to be fair value for the stock. Right now, that's currently sitting at 63.77. That means that's where the most volume has occurred at that price. So that's the fair value. And as it moves up, this is the high value area. This is a high value line. So again, these all should move in a direction, either up or down. And as we can see, the high value is above the opening high, which is good. The low value is above the opening low, which is good. So these also provide support and resistance. So looking at Rivian and looking at SPY. Which I thought we marked the opening low for SPY, but I guess not. Let me do that now. All right, so here we go. SPY is still okay because again, this is the value is still 403.96. It doesn't appear to be moving down. Devon, Rivian. So we would expect Rivian to give back a little bit, come back and find some support at some point. So given the fact that the EMA is above this high value line, this is really good support at the top. Rivian is below the VWAP, which is what we want because we're trading to the downside. So that would indicate that it's bearish. And given the fact that it had this reversal here and now we have a spinning top here, we're expecting Rivian, if it falls below the volume point of control, which is where the significant support is, and moves down, it will be moving into the low value area, which means it's likely to get sold off. So the SPY is also bearish at the moment. It is in the low value area. It's below the 5-day EMA. But it looks like support is holding. Rivian, again, has a shooting star hammer. Now we are sitting on top of, again, where most transactions have occurred. So it may very well be that buyers come in here at this level because the fair price is perceived to be 23.52, either buyers or sellers. And Devon appears to be consolidating. So from here, we would expect Devon to break out to the upside because it's consolidating and then it hits the 5-day EMA. So we expect that then to give us a bounce off the 5-day EMA. And going back to SPY, SPY is back above the VWAP, but it can close there. The VWAP and the volume point of control appear to be at the exact same place. You've got the 5-day EMA coming up as well. So now you have a lot of support for SPY at this level. 403.96. Rivian is still bearish below the VWAP. All right, so we just sit and we watch. Just want to take a look at some of the other things we had on our watch list just to see how they're doing. And I'm going to pull up a little bit of a different chart. We looked at in-phase energy, and energy probably should do well today, I would suspect. So there's in-phase. And if we look at it on a 30-minute chart, on a 1-hour chart, again, it's bouncing off of this algorithmic support level. This is what we want to see. Doji, and now move to the upside. And on a 4-hour chart, and on a daily. Here's the bounce, here's the move. So this is where the resistance is and needs to be overcome. We also talked about GPRE, Green Plains. It was bouncing as well off of that algorithmic support level. Here on the open, we have this spinning top, which could be a doji. So nice bounce here, not only off the algorithmic support level, but also this ATR trailing stop on the 4-hour. We do have some resistance here in the 30-minute. So looking at the 1-hour, you've got a hammer, which is a significant indicator here at the bottom of this move, right here at this support. So this is a clear signal, clear buy signal to the upside. And on the 4-hour, just looking at all the time frames, you have a bullish hammer. So here's your bounce. Here's the resistance, 29.82. So this is where we will watch carefully. It moves $2.52 a day. We looked at Nextera Energy, and when we looked at that one, it appeared to be running into some trouble here. So let's go to a 30-minute chart. We see this consolidation, but here's a bullish hammer here. So I suspect at some point, this is going to be a nice trade to the upside, but it's a consolidation. So for that reason, I probably would not be trading it. And we can see it's been in consolidation for a while. And even on a 4-hour, it's fairly clear here. This is a consolidation. So looking at it on a 5-minute chart, this appears to be where the support is. But again, it's consolidating. So not sure what's going to happen with it on this move. Everything seems to be green today, except for the VIX. Let's look at Tesla. We had talked about Tesla earlier. So Tesla is, I'm expecting Tesla today. Let's see, it moves on average $66. So it hit a low here, right on this support level of 794.12. All right, so Tesla 794.12 plus 6608. That's 860. So the next level of resistance from an algorithmic perspective is 881.97. So it would not surprise me if Tesla doesn't move up and hit this resistance today. That would be a full move of the ATR. And it's poised right now. I mean, you've got this doji here, spinning top, spinning top, spinning top on the 4-hour chart. So it's just a matter of time. Tesla needs to break this 834.21. And then it has some additional resistance at, well, that's the 1-hour. So at the, that's it. That's where the resistance is. Go on the 4-hour chart. The resistance just happens to be right beneath here. So 879.03. So again, this is a consolidation currently. However, it looks to me that Tesla's going to break out of this. Looking at it on the 4-hour chart, it may not hit this target until tomorrow, and it could be on the open. But 879 is where it's going to run into trouble. 880. So it quite frankly would hit that 880, which is at this current position, 807. That's like a $100 move before we have any real trouble. All right, so it's 10:22. Just kind of go back and take a look at where we are on our trades and our watch list, and we're dealing with some volatility today. Devin is signaling it's going to turn over. And I'm up 42%, so I'm going to take my profit on Devon. No reason why I shouldn't. The bid and the ask is pretty wide though, so maybe I'll just watch for a little bit, because right now the difference between the bid and the ask is about 20 cents. 25 cents. So the bid is 305, the ask is 330. So the last price for Devon, let's take a look and see what the last price was, where it traded. I'm deep in the money currently. It was 330. Before I decide to exit this trade, let me just take another look and see how we're doing with the volume point of control and where the value is. If the value is moving up, then it doesn't really matter. Oh, wow. So this is interesting. Make sure I don't have the overnight on. All right, so want to make sure I'm looking at the same thing I was before. So this is where the original volume point of control was for Devon, right? 63.77. That was where the most transactions occurred. Now the volume point of control is up at 65.06. So that means that the value for Devon has increased significantly, because this is the low value line now, which is currently at the price where the most transactions have occurred. So the most transactions previously occurred at this level. Now this is where the most transactions have occurred at the lowest price. So with the value moving up for Devon the way it is, I'm not going to get out of this. I'm going to stay in it. Let's look at Rivian. All right, Rivian, the value is the same. So that's good. That's what we want, because we're in a put. And it's still bearish. It's below the VWAP. For the SPY, the value is still the same. It's declining. It's bearish, but we still have some support here. We're going to sort of stay in this SPY trade. So Devon is the winner. And even though it's consolidating here, you can see the volume, this blue bar. This is where the volume is. So there's a lot of support here at this level at the 5-day EMA. So Devon should again make a new high. Here we've hit 65.58, but it should make a new high here soon. And let's just take a look at the VIX and see if, oh, we've got a climbing VIX. So that could indicate trouble for the SPY. That's on a 5-minute chart. Looks like it's trying to bounce off this 30-minute ATR. So looking at the 30-minute chart. Five-day EMA is here coming down, so I think we're going to be okay. I'm not going to be too concerned about it. What I have offsetting is I have my Rivian trade to the downside, and SPY, it's moving against me to the downside. However, I'm still comfortable with the trade. Any questions about today?
None for me, Richard. Great call on Devon.
Yeah, Devon is moving in the right direction, and so is Rivian. Again, those are going to be two that I'm going to swing.
You swung Devon from yesterday, right?
That's correct. and also Rivian. So Rivian just broke through the opening low. And Devon is consolidating above the opening high. And the SPY is holding on the 200-day EMA and the opening low. So we see what happened with the SPY, and this was expected. It hit this resistance. This is the ATR trailing stop on the 30-minute. And then there was also one on the 5-minute. And it's also where the opening, where the opening high was. No, this is the VPLC. Let me remove this. So we've got these really key resistance levels here, and we had anticipated that could be a problem. So now we just need SPY to hold, to move back to the upside, and then we're looking for it to break this. And once it breaks this resistance, then it should be fine. Looks like Devon is about to break out of its consolidation to the upside, and looks like Rivian is going to continue its move to the downside. So the SPY is our trade today, and we're going to sit in Devon and sit in Rivian, and those are traded in opposite directions. Rivian to the downside. Again, I'm holding a $25 put on Rivian expiring May 20th. It's currently at 15.8%. I'm holding a $63 call on Devon, expires May 13th. It's currently at 52.06%. And my SPY trade is down, but I'm okay with that because my account is still in the right. I'm not losing on my SPY trade, even though it's down, so I can hold on to it, and I'm expecting it to turn. And I bought time, which is always comforting, I should say.
Okay, Richard, thanks. We'll see you tomorrow. You're going to Dr. A's room, right?
I am going to Dr. A's room, yes. And
Okay.
we will be together, you, myself, Princess, and any other subscribers tomorrow.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Bye. Have a great one. Bye.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye.